Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the NORA Research and Education Center here. It's a real pleasure to have everybody here for what we hope to be a very thoughtful discussion about the challenges and the opportunities that we have in front of us here in the liquid heating industry. This is the kind of roundtable that I think can help us understand what's happening in our individual states and how much of the issues that are happening in your states are also happening in these collective states. So part of what we hope to have accomplished here is to see if there's some opportunities within NORA to be able to create maybe some projects in 2025 that can complement the opportunities and the challenges ahead of us. So again, on behalf of Dr. Butcher, Bob, and everybody at NORA, we want to welcome you here and look forward to a vibrant discussion.
For those of you I don't know, I'm Kate Duffy, chairman of NORA. I'm outside of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. Wanted to thank everyone for taking the time out of their schedule today to join us at the NORA lab. Hopefully you all have gotten an opportunity to walk around the lab and see all the good things happening here. And we look forward to a great discussion and roundtable of the future of renewable fuels.
This year, coming up for this coming heating season, we're doing something dramatically different. We're going to be doing field testing with renewable diesel, biodiesel blends. It's going to be a 50-50 blend for sites in Massachusetts and an 80% renewable diesel, 20% biodiesel blend in Pennsylvania. Other than that, we are doing a lot of work on fuel quality as it relates to field issues in general. Other important areas for us include energy efficiency, analysis of the rebate programs, how much energy savings can be associated with that.
Tom, what's the logic on Massachusetts doing a 50-50 and PA doing a 80-20?
We want to understand the differences between these two fuels. My expectation is that the 80% renewable diesel, 20% biodiesel blend is going to be just perfect. I also feel that the 50-50 blend is going to be really good. Depending upon how market prices go in the future, the 50-50 blend might be a cheaper option than the 80-20 blend in the future. So really, we're just exploring to try to see how these two fuels differ.
A company wanted to move to an 80-20. It's within the ASTM specification today. So that transition can happen today. The work that we're doing on the 50-50 blends, to Tom's point, it's likely going to be a more commercially interesting fuel because of the cost of the biodiesel being less than the cost of the renewable diesel. But we don't yet have a B50 specification. So the work that we're doing in Massachusetts on the 50-50 blends will also provide field data to ASTM when we ballot this in the next year or two, that we've been working not only a 50-50 blend of heating oil and biodiesel, but a 50-50 blend of renewable diesel and biodiesel, which should also be very supportive when Tom and Clean Fuels and the manufacturers go to ASTM to ballot this. So one is conforming today under ASTM. One is something that we believe will be very valuable commercially. We believe, as Tom said, we've done a lot of the testing here on RD80B20 and RD50B50, and the testing has been tremendous as far as what we've seen, which is important. We've got to make sure it's right here in the lab before we take it to the field. But then, does this help us move and provide more commercial flexibility with these fuels as well? You may find that it's easier to receive biodiesel in Pennsylvania, and it may be easier to receive renewable diesel in Massachusetts. Again, those trade flows also have some bearing on this as well.
I don't think there's anything more important than the work that the scientists are doing here. If it wasn't for NORA's research and development, I believe that the industry in whole would still be saying we have a reliable, available, affordable fuel, and we've had it for a century. Why switch? Well, now we've given them the reasons to switch, and I think that it's not only happening because Global Warming Solutions Acts are requiring emissions reductions, but the research and development has allowed the industry to willingly move forward to pursue the solutions in its retail 101. What do our customers want? Surveys show over and over and over again they want environmentally friendly fuels. So if retailers are going to give their customers what they want, NORA's research and development is delivering on that.
The research and development for each state, it really helps us to amplify and to strengthen our message within the state and to be a part of the energy landscape. For me, New York State, and as I look around, through New England and the Northeast states.
And there are so many naysayers still about this fuel. I mean, let's be real about that. I mean, broader acceptance of renewable fuels in our industry is vital. And without the research and development, as you both said, it's not going to happen. Erasing some of those doubts that retailers have that this fuel doesn't work, that it's too expensive, I can't get it. All of those things need to be waylaid. And I think the R&D piece of this is crucial for that. The synergy between all of the aspects of NORA is what intrigues me the most and excites me the most. You have a funding mechanism that drives R&D, and then it trickles down to communications with our customers and our retailers, training for our employees and owners, and rebates for heating equipment. So, the work that has been put into developing those channels, all of those channels are now they're bearing fruit.
Thank you.
We've partnered with SUNY Morrisville, State University of New York school located in upstate New York, to incorporate the NORA Bronze curriculum into their existing renewable energy program. This actually just got started this semester. We had a kickoff meeting up there in the first week in October, very successful. They're going to incorporate it into their existing curriculum. They already have a systems class, which is one semester, is going on right now. Steam, hot water, warm air, that type of thing. That's about 50% of the NORA curriculum. And in the spring, they'll be offering the specific combustion, the specific to liquid fuels. It's a completely renewable liquid fuel base. There's no fossil segment at all. We put a tank there that actually Dr. Butcher mentioned. This is a combination, kind of a twofer. We got a research and education project, both in one. So the tank's being monitored for temperature, and that's the tank that's supplying fuel for the lab for the students to work on. They'll be working on coming up in the spring 25 semester. So we're excited about that. It's the first 4-year college that we have offering the NORA curriculum. Generally, it's community colleges, high schools, trade schools, adult education programs, things like that. Once it gets going, we can use this as a template to expand this to other SUNY schools and obviously other states. Really excited about a lot of potential in this. It's an opportunity to get to younger people. They're already in this renewable energy program. They're looking at this type of thing as a career. The salaries in this industry are a lot more competitive than they're looking at currently in the solar or wind industries where they're currently focused. This is a very good opportunity to reach these young people who want a renewable energy career that don't know renewable liquid fuels are an option. So looking forward to expanding this, throughout the entire NORA footprint as we go forward. But so far, it's been a great partnership with Morrisville. They've been great, and a lot of potential to expand it and use this as a template moving forward. So really excited about that one.
It is absolutely perfect. When you think about delivering on greater efficiency because the home is tightened up with a fuel that can lower emissions by 80% is everyone's dream come true. And that's why I'm so excited that NORA has taken on the BPI in incorporating that into the curriculum. Like you said, I don't think you could have a more perfect marriage.
For us in this industry to have something like this is really a great thing, what we've done here, and the education I think is really an integral part of what we're trying to do and bringing in new people into this industry.
I think the industry isn't always aware that the states of Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Maine are operating 3 very dynamic schools right now. So I'd like to ask, starting with Ted, Chris, and Charlie, a little bit about what you're offering and what your feedback is on the education. Have you seen changes? Have you seen different people? Just kind of give us an overall synopsis of your school and kind of what you're seeing over these last couple of years with regard to our industry and the programs that we're trying to roll out right now. Ted, we'll start with you.
Workforce development, hiring, retaining, training is just, I think for most companies, a continuous challenge. So we really wanted to, we looked at our 2 great programs in New England between Maine and Connecticut and really saw what they were doing with having a gateway, what we would call a gateway program in Pennsylvania that could take a John Doe or a Jane Doe who's not currently in our industry, give them enough basic training and certifications to really give them a step up. And then, you leverage our membership to be able to find a home for them to be able to go and enter the industry. So we've really, in the last 7 years, have evolved significantly in terms of our school, and we've seen really a lot of benefits on the association side from doing that. We've created a new membership category for HVAC contractors to join our association, and their interest in our association is our school. And to date, we created that category in 2019. We have over 100 HVAC companies that are dues-paying members of the PPA in a separate category because they see the value of what we're doing. Companies that are looking at maybe we don't work on oil systems anymore. We don't want to hear that in our state. We want to educate, and we want to kind of embrace that segment of the stakeholders out there that are working on oil customers' equipment within the home.
If we're not able to install, maintain, and service, repair equipment, we don't have a future. So I think that the HVAC training side that you're doing in Pennsylvania and Charlie's doing in Maine and what we're doing in Connecticut is absolutely crucial. But what I find most exciting right now is that for the last 100 years, the HVAC industry had to maintain and install oil equipment, heating oil equipment. But now, for the first time in a century, we have this radical change in our fuel, right? We're talking about 100% renewable fuels being sold, which changes the way that we do all of that. The equipment's changed, so therefore the school's role in training the next generation of HVAC professionals is really going to be the key to our future success.
NORA has really helped us kind of create a fresh focus on liquid fuels' future, and it's helped us to introduce a new generation of service technicians to the possibilities of biofuel, and also in our lab. The work that Tom has done with Roger, the Dean of MTech, has been really transformational for us because we've been able to not only demonstrate to our students but to state leaders the benefits of biofuels, the possibility of fuels like EL going forward, and what that can mean not only to the liquid fuels industry but to the state as a whole in our efforts to reduce carbon emissions. And I think too, it's helped us to reach into non-traditional avenues for students. We have a lot of first-generation Mainers, first-generation Americans now coming to our school because they can see the value proposition that MTech offers them in terms of providing for themselves, providing for their families and their communities, and really helping to strengthen all of our communities, whether it's Portland or whether it's Caratunk. There are areas throughout the state that we're reaching into. In fact, we go beyond Maine's borders. We've had people come from as far away as Australia to take part in our programs. They've seen it online, and they're really fascinated by our new expansion in our lab, which you've helped with Tom has helped with, and into biofuels. The units that we have specifically designated for the study of biofuels, how to work on those units. It's really an exciting time for us, and we couldn't do this without NORA. Without the insight and the data that you provide. It really helps us as not only we train the next generation, which is a huge deficit of technicians, and like Ted mentioned, like Chris mentioned, we're bringing that new generation in, and it's really nice to see when a young person comes in, oftentimes without any mechanical aptitude, they would tell you, but in about 12 weeks, they go from kind of 0 to 120, right? And they find themselves in a career that is really tremendous for them. It's well-paying. A young person coming out and starting off at about $50,000 a year with full benefits and oftentimes a vehicle, and oftentimes as a result of their going to our school, which is supported by NORA, it fosters confidence in the employer, and the employer will then pay that student back for their tuition, or oftentimes they will send brand new employees to us to give them that basic experience, that basic training, if you will. And it's an exciting thing to be a part of, and we're seeing our course offerings change as a result of the information that you share with us. We're offering second level higher education so that our techs can come back and get further credentialed in the field, and it's really a nice thing. And in the last 18 months, we've seen our enrollment go like this, and we anticipate it to continue to do so.
Because of the challenges, financial challenges of college, because of these opportunities? Do they see this opportunity ahead of them to come into our industry?
Young people coming in, sometimes their parents will come in with them. Sometimes they hitch a ride to Brunswick, Maine, so they can see the lab and understand what it is we offer. And we're seeing that time and time again. Young people are looking, as I mentioned a moment ago, at the value proposition, where they could, inside of about 12 or 13 weeks, could spend maybe $14,000 getting the education opportunity that we offer, as opposed to 4 years at a baccalaureate degree and oftentimes hundreds of thousands of dollars expended. And really, when they look at what they could make in a very short period of time and how they can make a difference in their communities, we hear a lot from our students who now are going into nursing homes, they're going into schools, they're going into hospitals, industries that need our products.
If you look at the cost of higher education, say average tuition is about $25,000 a year. In Rhode Island, we work with New England Institute of Technology, and we partnership with them and offer a basic oil tech class. That class, the cost for each student is probably just a little bit under $4,000. With NORA funding and with Rhode Island Real Jobs grants, those students only pay a few $100s to attend that class. So if you think of the average student loan debt that individuals are graduating with, and then you put it with the ROI and what they're making on the other side, they can graduate with no debt. A few $100s, maybe $1,000 they might spend, and we have scholarships usually for students that need it for that aspect too. But in Rhode Island, they can come out with a basic oil tech certificate and a pipe fitter certificate, and can cost them near nothing without any debt, going into a great promising career.
That is probably one of my biggest challenges, is recruiting young people. Not even young people, people that want to work. When we find somebody who wants to work, we're struggling with, I don't want to work over 40 hours. I want to sit at a computer. When we do find them, we put the money into schooling.
Techs are impossible to find today, as well as CDL drivers. I've really changed my mindset on that and started taking people who are interested in the HVAC side of the industry and sending them to the PPA school to get them familiar with what it is that we do and what we're looking for. Because when you find someone who is willing to learn and do it, you got to hold on to them and invest in them if they're going to invest their time with you.
So I'm going to use a poor sports analogy. You almost have to build through the draft, and you have to train your own people to really develop good talent.
We've been really, fortunate, if you will, in the sense of our school has become not just a regional operation, but we're seeing students for specific classes coming in from across the country. Charlie has me beat with Australia, but we had 2 students from Alaska in our program last month, which was pretty neat to see, and it was an oil heat class. So obviously there's some oil heat in Alaska, and they wanted to make the investment to come, and obviously it was wonderful to have them.
What do you see as some of the challenges and opportunities that our industry, our group here, can kind of address together?
For us as an industry, working with NORA so that our customers, the people that we see every day, know that we have an option, and we're working really hard to deliver that option to them, and that they can have an effect on what their greenhouse gases are too, that they're using every day.
Too often, I think they still think of us as the old fossil fuel industry, and we still, no matter what we do, we need to keep doubling down and communicate that to people.
As Rocco said, or Chris said, being thought about as your grandfather's heating oil, that's not who we are today, and not who we are kind of on a moving forward. So what does that opportunity look like? I mean, as things are changing for a whole host of reasons, our opportunity to decarbonize, is that an opportunity for this industry to have a resurgence, a renaissance, and to grow again? I'll put that on the table.
We see the progress that we're making in kind of, it seems slow maybe. But if you look at it, if you step back and take a look at it, it is incredible how fast and how strongly this industry has transitioned to this fuel. I am hard pressed to find any other energy technology that has had this much impact in such a short amount of time.
The speed in which our industry has responded to the challenge of decarbonization is stunning, and so I find that extremely encouraging. Is that we're not hoping good things happen, we're making good things happen.
My biggest problem was I think there's the consumer, but also people within the industry do not realize what NORA does behind the scenes. They don't realize the extent of the research and development. They don't realize the extent of the education and the training. And I really needed to, I'm like, we need to get the word out. We need to let people within my own state, New York, they need to know what is happening, what our industry is doing. So, you know, when I talked to you, I talked to Rocco, and at first we were just maybe it'll just be a New York thing. And as we talked and developed it more, it should be all the Northeast coming together. And I think when you can collaborate like that and really emphasize a unified message, it gives a more powerful message because we're all standing together.
You mentioned, should we be marketing carbon reduction or heating oil? I don't think there's any question that carbon reduction is the message, but it's funny that we talk about your grandfather's heating oil because I still think those tenets are absolutely crucial. The warmth and comfort that we provide cannot be left at the doorstep. So combining the fundamental strengths of the industry with sophisticated approach to carbon reduction are crucial.